How can you quit smoking without relapsing again? In fact, this is a question that so many of my clients have asked me in the free discovery call for my 4-week hypnosis coaching program for smoking cessation. Sebastian, how can I quit smoking without relapsing again? Because several of my clients, they tried to quit smoking in the past, and for a certain amount of time, some of them have been successful. For some of them it's been days, for some of them weeks, for some of them months, and for some of them even years before they relapsed again. And the experiences that my clients shared with me, the experiences of why they relapsed again, were usually related to certain things happening in their family, stressful situations at work, or simply a night out where they had too much to drink. And always remember, alcohol lowers your inhibition, and then they took a cigarette, completely unconscious, without consciously being aware of what they were doing, until the next morning they then realized, oh no, I smoked again. And if that's you, if right now you are afraid that you will not go through this process of becoming a non-smoker and to then not be able to keep yourself in this identity and to live your life as a non-smoker, to no longer smoke cigarettes, then this episode is for you. And in order for you to not relapse and to not fall back into old patterns, you need to understand that quitting smoking is not just about cigarettes. It's not just about doing something differently. It's about becoming somebody else. It's about losing your old self and creating a new self, because unless we go through this process, you might use the patches and the gums and all the other things that you can do in the external world, or let's say all the things that you can use, all the external helpers that you can use. But in the long term, your identity has not changed yet. The identity is still the identity of a smoker. Then, of course, it's way more likely for you to at some point relapse. When there's a stressful situation, when something happens in your family, when you feel negative emotions and you're overwhelmed by them, and you remember that once upon a time there was this anchor for you, this lifeline, which are cigarettes. But if we go through the identity shift and your subconscious mind fully understands that you have become a new person, then I don't see any reality in which you could actually relapse. Because once we override the identity of a smoker with the identity of a non-smoker, which is the accumulation of all your thoughts, beliefs, perceptions, is then programmed on making you feel, making you think, and therefore also making you act as a non-smoker. And that's when your subconscious mind fully understands that you are now in a new reality. And that's the exact process that we're going to go through once you join the 4-week hypnosis coaching program for smoking cessation, which you can find out more about by going to quitsmokingtodaypodcast.com/hypnosis, or by simply clicking on the first link in the description. And don't get me wrong, doing the right things in the physical world, for example, replacing the habit of smoking a cigarette with different habits, and replacing certain things that you usually did in relationship with smoking cigarettes with other activities, can be incredibly helpful. That's also, by the way, a part of my hypnosis coaching program, where we make your subconscious mind understand that it's way more fulfilling and way more empowering and way more beneficial for you and for your journey of becoming a non-smoker to engage in different habits. So replacing the habit of smoking a cigarette with a different habit is definitely something that can be done on your journey towards becoming a non-smoker. In the same way, I'm also not against nicotine replacement therapy. The only thing I have to say here is that I'm a certified hypnotist, I'm not a medical professional, and that's why I always want to put this disclaimer here when it comes to nicotine replacement therapy or when it comes to other medications. Then of course, please consult a healthcare professional. This is not something that I feel qualified to give advice on. However, what I'm qualified in is to help your subconscious mind to understand that you have arrived in a new identity, and you can in fact I also encourage you to combine different methods on a conscious level with your subconscious mind with a subconscious effort to then break free from cigarettes. I would never say that you should only rely on hypnosis and you should never observe your thoughts and never replace any habits and never try any gums. No, why not? I mean, why shouldn't you use all the tools that are available for you to use? The only thing I'm saying, and I'm very confident when I say this, is that if you use all the right tools, but you do not change your paradigm and you do not shift your identity from the identity of a smoker to the identity of a non-smoker, then you will always be in this position where relapsing is possible, because your identity and your paradigm are still based on the identity and paradigm of a smoker, which means that your subconscious mind, and this is something that's so important for you to understand, that your subconscious mind will always try to fill in reality, which means your subconscious mind will, without you being consciously aware of it, on a subconscious level, guide you to make the right actions and to do the right things that are in alignment with your paradigm. So in other words, if your paradigm says, I am a smoker, then your subconscious mind will do everything in its power to guide you to certain actions that represent the actions of a smoker, which of course in the long run make it easier then to relapse, which is exactly what you want to avoid. But once your paradigm is the paradigm of a non-smoker, then your subconscious mind also tries to fill in this reality, which means your subconscious mind then motivates you, guides you without you being consciously aware of it to certain actions that are in alignment with the paradigm of a non-smoker and therefore the reality of a non-smoker, which means to no longer take cigarettes. And of course, on this journey, you then also want to consciously stay away from certain experiences and certain people and certain, well, you can say certain bad habits that make it more likely for you to smoke a cigarette. I mean, if you continue to drink alcohol on the weekend up to a point where you're getting tipsy, then of course you don't have to wonder why it's harder for you to stay a non-smoker. Because, well, alcohol lowers our inhibition. Alcohol leads to us thinking and acting and feeling more like the animal self. I mean, I truly believe that alcohol is the most dangerous drug there is, because statistically speaking, 50% of murders and 50% of domestic violence incidents are done under the influence of alcohol. And yes, I had coaching clients who drastically cut back on their alcohol consumption because they were that serious about being a non-smoker. And of course, if you put yourself in situations where you no longer have any control of your mind and your mind is clouded with alcohol, then of course it will be harder for you to stay in this reality of being a non-smoker because, well, our inhibition level goes down and you are then more likely to take a cigarette. But this is also a part of this healing journey, a part of this journey of creating a new self. And that's why it's so important for me that if you decide to work with me in my 4-week hypnosis coaching program for smoking cessation, that you see this journey that you embark on as a journey that guides you to a new self and therefore to a new reality. You don't just want to look at it as you overcoming cigarettes, but it's you overcoming yourself, you creating a new self with a new identity, so that you can then in the long term stay in this reality of being a non-smoker. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. And if you want to find out more about my 4-week hypnosis coaching program for smoking cessation, you can go to quitsmokingtodaypodcast.com/hypnosis or click on the first link in the description. And if you want to get access to an affordable supplement that was specifically created to support healthy lungs and a healthy respiratory system, which might be exactly what you need on your journey towards a smoke-free life and on a journey towards recovering from year-long smoking, you can go to quitsmokingtodaypodcast.com/breathe or click on the second link in the description.